guys, what is up? It's your girl Grace Torie, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. You're probably really confused if you're watching on the YouTube right now because what the heck? What is my background? What is going on? If you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I've been cleaning and organizing and unpacking from when we literally moved in April. And so my whole house is a mess right now. So I am currently in my living room because where I usually film, which is in the bedroom or my office, is just a mess. Also, if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, you may hear a sound in the background. We are dog sitting my Josh's parents' English bulldog, and he's either panting really loud or he's snoring. That's just how bulldogs are. So I'm going to do my absolute best to reduce the background noise and keep him from making any noise, but you know how doggos are. So that's just gonna be the theme for this episode. I'm really kind of excited about this episode. It's really just a brain dump of all the things that I really didn't expect to happen when I graduated. I feel like people just tell you, it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, graduation is amazing, you are almost there, graduation is going to be so great, and then you have the rest of your life, da 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 da. And then you graduate, and like obviously there's amazing things, and you have so much freedom and all that great stuff, but like it's not, like there's some cons too that I feel like no one really talks about. Obviously these things are a little bit more unique to me, but I feel like other people probably struggle with them too, so it's not guaranteed, but I also wanted to just talk about it, you know. But before I get into that, I do want to do my life update. So what's the tea? I talked about how I've been cleaning and unpacking a lot. I've really been focusing on the things I'm going to talk about and kind of dive into. I've been in a weird slump because of these things, so yikes, it's not my favorite, but it's life, you know. I've been just trying to work through them, navigate them, so that's really been my main focus. I do want to talk about something before we jump into this. So I mentioned this on Instagram, but I feel like she deserves her own moment on the podcast. So I don't know if you guys keep up with like Dylan O'Brien, JoJo Siwa. I literally cannot pronounce her last name, but she is my favorite actress. It's Zoe, and I don't want to, it's like Dioch. It's probably something really simple, and I just completely messed it up. I'm horrible with names. She's literally my favorite actress, though. They all are in this movie, and it's called Not Okay. And it came out on Hulu probably like a week or two ago. And I wanted to see it because it's about influencers and it's got all these great actors in it, actresses, so why not? So Josh and I watched it the other night. I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 5. The issue that I had is the main character was Zoe, and there was no like character development. I wouldn't say there was no character development, but there was not a lot of character development. And at the end, there wasn't really a resolution, and so my little Taurus heart could not handle that. I didn't really like how there wasn't a resolution at all. So if you're expecting like your typical movie, it's not it. It was really hard for me to like not have that. I don't know. I almost felt like the movie ended and I felt like it was only halfway through. It's kind of like a, I don't want to give it away, but it's kind of like, it's like a rags to riches and then back to rags, and you kind of want it to go like back to riches again, or like have some sort of resolution to like the big problem, and there's just not. So that's what I thought, but it had some really interesting topics that I wanted to talk about. So my dog is just walking all around the living room. One of the topics I wanted to cover, or the main topic, is this idea of like not being okay. So in the movie, she starts this hashtag, and it's hashtag I'm not okay. And I'm sure you've seen the previews or something, but basically what she does is she pretends that she was in a terrorist attack when she actually wasn't, for the clout that comes with it. And then like they find out that it was fake and blah, blah, blah. But what she did is she started this hashtag called hashtag I'm not okay. And she talks about how people aren't checking in with themselves enough, and they're actually not okay. I thought that that was an interesting topic that like really covers that idea of like escapism. So I am I've been really interested in this lately. I've been reading a lot of books on it, on escapism, and how escapism is just a big part of America, at least, where a lot of the things that we're spending money on is to escape reality, whether that's movies or video games or scrolling on Instagram. Everything is about escaping reality. And so what she talks about is that people are so focused on their escapism and getting caught up in this, what they want to be their lifestyle, or, you know, running away from their reality, that they don't ever check in with themselves and say, hey, am I actually okay? And I thought that was an interesting thing, because I agree, a lot of people don't do that, and that's kind of what I'm going to get into a little bit for the topic today. So it basically talks about how, like, it doesn't matter how deep your trauma is, like, whether you are in, what she was trying to say, whether you were witnessed a terrorist attack, or whether you were bullied in high school, or whether you know, had some sort of trauma, your parents got divorced. It doesn't matter. We're not comparing trauma here. Just like you wouldn't compare your achievements with everybody else's, or you shouldn't be comparing your achievement with everybody else, you shouldn't be comparing your trauma with everybody else's, because all trauma is valid. So basically, I just wanted to take a second for us to all sit here and kind of let that sink in, and take a second to ask ourselves, am I okay? So what we're going to do is, I want everyone to sit down, either cross your legs or lay down. If you can. If you're driving, please don't do that. And if you can, close your eyes. And you're going to take a deep breath in and release. And then you're going to breathe in again. And then you're going to release. And if your eyes are closed, I like to picture clouds just passing by. And that helps me focus, because I tend to have a bit of a scatterbrain. So if you have your eyes closed, focus, think about clouds right now just passing by. We're trying to clear our brain of all that scatter so that we can actually get to us and where we're at right now. So think of your thoughts as clouds. Just let them pass as they come and observe. Don't get too caught up on one. Don't go on a mental tangent. And when you feel like you're at a place where you're calm and you're one with yourself, I want you to ask yourself, am I okay? And do a mental check-in. This can be, am I mentally okay? Am I physically okay? How has my day been today? Anything like that. Alright, so now that we've taken a minute to do that, once you've done that, take that information as you will, and kind of calibrate your day to adjust to that. If you're not okay and you need a day off, and it's possible for you to kind of spend the night watching a movie or lighting a candle or doing some self-care, do that. And, you know, try and take a point to, or try and make a point, not take a point, to check in with yourself more often, because it's really easy to get caught up in that escapism. And I don't know, I feel like if we're going to be, no matter what version of that girl that you want to become, being one with yourself and aligning with yourself and what you want is the first step. So that is it for my life updates. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the episode. Okay, I took a brief intermission to get some work done, so that is why, if you're watching on YouTube, I look like a totally different person. I actually got dressed. Oh my gosh, funny. I made a list and just kind of like put everything that I'm feeling and what's authentic to me right now on a paper. So let's talk about all the things that they don't tell you about life post-college. So the first thing that I wrote is because this week is Big Blue Move-In. So if you don't go to UK or haven't heard of it, what that means is everyone's just moving in at UK. It's also workshop week or spirit week for my sorority, so I've just been seeing all their fun stuff. I've just, like, the first thing I wrote because of this is I've had such bad FOMO, because, like, I don't know if it's FOMO because, like, I get it, like, I graduated, but it's also, like, I'm sad because, like, I'm not moving in. I'm not in Spirit Week, like, and I'm very nostalgic because, like, that was just such a good time. Like, I never really did Spirit Week with my sorority. I always wanted to. But I did like do move-ins, like all your friends come back from their internships or wherever, and it's just like the best feeling in the world. First day of classes is so amazing, and I'm just like, I'm so nostalgic and I'm sad because like this is our first year that like I'm not going back to school shopping, which is like my favorite thing in the world, and all those things. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I literally love school. Like, I love school. Why do you think I got 3 degrees? Like, it's just so much fun to me. So the fact that I'm not going back has just been really hard. And, you know, whether you're an academic person or not, like, or if you just love your friends, like, I know it's really hard when, like, all of my friends moved all over the United States, and I know that's pretty common. So, like, it's just like I'm not seeing my friends right now, and I usually would, and so that's like something no one really told me that would suck. Also, like, I kind of mentioned this, but the loneliness that comes with like everyone moving. So I went from like seeing everyone, like my friends, every single day to literally not seeing my friends. Like, I didn't see my best friend for like 2.5 months, and then we saw each other for like 2 hours, and you know, that sucks. Like, it sucks really bad. You know, having to start over is just like really hard because like for me, I have a really hard time making friends. Like, it's just not something I'm good at. So having to completely start over and remake friends because all of your friends moved away, and just having to like find new routines and everything is just like really, really hard, because I'm not good at it. And like, some people are just fine, you know, some people's friends stay close, but like none of mine did. So it's just not great, and no one really like tells you, oh, I'll like prepare yourself for the loneliness that comes with it. And while I like have my family and I have like Josh and like I do have some friends, like just like adjusting to not seeing your friends every day and being able to just like call them up and say, hey, I'll be there in 2, like let's go get coffee, like it's really hard. And I know that like I'll find friends again and it'll be like that soon, but right now it's just really hard. Also, just like not feeling good enough. Everyone kind of expects you, like, okay, like you have a degree now, you're gonna be making money, you're gonna have a house, you're gonna do this, and like if I've mentioned being in the Bible Belt all the time, but like I'm in the Bible Belt, so like the pressure of, you know, I'm 23 years old, everyone is getting engaged and having kids, and like feeling like if you don't do that, like you're just not good enough. So like I don't make like a ton of money, and I'm not like a $1 million person, which is fine. I graduated in May, but it's like, you know, just constantly feeling like you're not good enough because your worth has always been measured in like grades, and now it's like not. So it sucks. Like, just, I don't know. It just feels like if you just take a day off to like sleep and you're not constantly working towards your goal, whatever that goal is, like it just feels like, to me, like I'm lazy or like I'm not working hard enough, or, you know. So it's hard because you want to be present, but like for me, I hyperfixate on the future. So like I'm like, okay, in the future I'm gonna have this, this, and this, and this, hopefully, and like I'm trying to manifest for the future. But like I also just want to be present because I know like one day I'm gonna look back and miss this time when like we got our first house, and like we're, you know, those ramen noodle nights, and like going on drives, and just like the little things. And I really, like, I so badly want to be present, and I so badly want to just wake up every day and be like, this is amazing, and soak it up. But I have so much anxiety about, like, what is my future going to look like? Like, what am I going to do for a career? Am I going to be making enough money? Even, like, a month now, like, am I going to have money for, like, utilities? Like, it's so hard to just shut all that out and focus on, like, today and be happy, like, today, because I'm so worried about the future. And like, I don't know if everybody has that issue, but like, I definitely have it. And I didn't expect to either be so focused on like missing the past or so focused on wanting the future to be here, but you know, here we are. That's not fun. Also, learning to flow instead of force. So that's something that I've been talking about a lot. Just like going with the flow and letting things happen instead of wanting to micromanage things and force them to happen. So like I mentioned, I have really big anxiety. So like one way that I kind of want to force the future to happen is like I tell myself like you're going to make it happen by working so hard that like it has no choice but to happen. But when you force things, there's a lot of resistance and then they're less likely to happen, or they're going to take longer to happen, or things are going to go wrong. And I don't know why it's that way. It's just the way it is. But when you flow and you let things come and go and your energy is more open to receiving things, like they're more likely to come. So for me, it's been really, really hard to learn to go with the flow and just not panic and force everything to happen and give off like this desperate energy. Because I'm scared. Like, I'm so scared of like what is gonna happen. And you know, that's just life. This snoring is just something else. So something else is comparison, and it's really hard. I know that you're not supposed to compare yourself to other people, but it's kind of like a combination of feeling like you're not good enough, feeling you're doing it wrong even though there's no right or wrong way, feeling like other people are like farther ahead than you, or like, oh, I'm farther ahead than them. Like, it's been really, really hard. So I've been trying really hard to stay off of social media because like it's made things worse. Like obviously watching the Big Blue Move-In and watching my sorority and watching like people get engaged. Like, not that I want to get engaged right now. That's not like, you know, like we're on our own path and we're happy with where we're at. But like at the same time, it's like, oh shoot, like everyone else is farther ahead on like quote unquote what we're supposed to do. So, you know, comparison is the thief of joy, I swear, and it's something that I always have tried to not do, and it's been very like prominent in my mind. But obviously it happens. So it's just really hard not to compare, especially at this point in time, you know? And just feeling stuck, like feeling like you don't know where to go. Because like for me, I don't know what I want, and I know that I should know because everybody else knows, but I don't know. So feeling stuck in a place and feeling like you have nowhere to like go, like, or you have so many options but you don't know where to go, or you're just waiting on something to happen, like, you know, someone to reach out to you and say, hey, here's this perfect job, or hey, your TikTok goes viral, and like someone to kind of tell you like what to do, like here is your career path, do it. But it's like you can't do that. You need to choose for yourself, and just feeling stuck and like I don't know where to go from here is like a huge theme in my life right now. Also, I'm trying to like romanticize my life, but it's really hard when there's so much going on. Like, for example, I want my house to be like super clean and happy and, you know, living my best life, but at the same time, I can't. Like, I'm literally moving. My house is a mess. Like, it's not going to be this clean, aesthetic thing right now. And I want to eat clean, but, like, it's hard because, like, you know, healthy food costs money. Like, things like that. You have to budget for that. And I want a new car, and this is the car that I want, but, you know, that's not in the budget right now. And just because it doesn't happen today, just because it doesn't happen today doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But it's hard. You know, it's like you see all the people on social media and they have like all these perfect things and their life is so perfect, and it's like, how do they afford that? How did they get that job? Or how do they do this? Or how do they do that? So it's really hard to like look at their highlight reel and not make it your life, because when you're in college, you're constantly progressing because you're constantly doing things, and you can say like, oh, I did my homework, like I'm one step closer to getting my degree, or I completed this class, but like there are no classes in life, so it's like, am I progressing? I don't know. And then also another thing is like, I pushed a lot of things off in school because I was like, oh, I'm just going to focus on school. And all of those things you can't push off anymore. So I'm like meeting all of my skeletons that have been in my closet because I've been just like avoiding them. And so they all hit me at once. And that's a lot of trauma to hit you at once. Do not recommend. So it's been really, really hard to navigate that and kind of go through my trauma and all of the things that have not worked out or I've pushed off or I didn't want to deal with, and like not let it become my whole life. But it's also like I kind of have to go through all of it and purge all of it and get it out of the way so that I can move on. And I don't like it. Like there's nothing to distract you anymore. Like it's there. Like obviously you have a job, but it's different. It's not like your job for the most part is going to consume your whole life. Like you don't have homework or things to take home with you, so you kind of have to deal with all of these things and face them head on. And no one really tells you that. Like, it's not a good time. And then also, I mentioned it, but the societal pressures of life. Like, there's just all these societal pressures hitting you at once. And it's just like, it sucks because, like, you just want to, like, I just want to go out and live my life, guys. I just want to, like, go buy a cottage in the woods and, like, go on picnics and hang out with my animals, but it's like, I can't because society told me I have to have money, and money is, like, the biggest scam in my opinion. It's, like, a huge construct. Have you ever thought about that? Like, what if you just chose not to participate in money? Your whole life would fall apart. You, like, have to. You can't really barter anymore. Like, you can, but, like, I don't know. I think about it all the time. Money is literally just, like, a construct that we made up that runs our entire world. And, like, if you don't have a job where you make enough money to do all these things, then, like, your whole world is, like, significantly worse, quote unquote, because, like, you can't pay rent, you can't eat, you can't do these things, like, these basic things, and the cost of living is going up even more, and you're like, oh shoot, I have student debt kicking in now, and the cost of living is going up. So there's just, like, all these different pressures on you, when I just want to, like, breathe for the first time in I don't know how long because I've been so stressed about school, and it's not a good time. But, like, also, there's the facet of, like, trying to work on all of this, but you either don't know where to begin, or you're just so overwhelmed that you don't want to, like, you don't know where to start. Like, you don't want to start. And it's just, like, you want to I kind of want to check things off one by one, like a to-do list. Like, oh, today we'll do trauma. Tomorrow we'll do moving in. And then the next day we'll deal with societal pressures. But it's like you can't because they're all constantly factoring in to your life. So that's fun. And just, like, you know, learning how to balance all of these things and adjust to, like, this quote-unquote new normal is a whole nother aspect because, like, you're trying to adjust to, like, having this job and budgeting and, you know, the schedule because you kind of have to make your own routines, which we have routines in college, but they're different. And you just feel like, for me, I feel like no one understands because when you look at people, you only see their highlight reel. So everyone who graduates, you just see them living their best life and going to Mexico and getting engaged and getting job promotions. You don't see, like, the behind the scenes, so you just feel like you're alone and no one understands. And it's not like my mom is a college grad. Well, my mom did graduate in May, but it's a little different because, like, she has, like, a life and, like, she's been out of college for a while, so, like, nothing really changed. It's not like she was on campus, so, like, it's not like I can go to my typical support group because I just don't feel like they get it. But it's also hard because you're trying to do, like, what feels good and follow your passion and find what, like, sets your soul on fire. But you're also under all of this pressure because now you have to worry about adult things like bills and things like that, which, again, I had that in college, but I also had scholarships, so it wasn't the same. And, like, rent was literally, like, $550 a month. That is, like, significantly lower than, like, now. Like, crazy different. And, you know, your biggest concern was if you're going to have enough money to go to the bar on Thursday. And now it's like, am I going to be able to afford rent this month? Like, there's just all this pressure, but you're also like, man, I want to take time to discover myself and, like, do what makes me happy and, like, feel great or whatever, you know? Like, and, like, you have to find time to do that. You just have to, but it's like you can't. So all of that to say, you're just finding yourself, and I want to find myself and devote full time to this, but you can't because of all the other things I mentioned. And it's just frustrating, like, not knowing who you are, because, like, I want to be confident in who I am, but how do I be confident in myself if I don't know who I am? Yikes. Dropping bars. Deep. Then there's also the meeting the skeletons in your closet, like I mentioned. I literally switched from my handwritten notes to my notes on my phone because I, like, was taking both. So, like, a big thing also is learning to be okay with this and live in the gray in a world that's so black and white and labels everything. So, for example, the world is very, you know, are you a doctor? Are you a nurse? Are you a teacher? Are you a this? And it's like, you are that thing. And then, you know, are you a wife? Are you single? Are you a mom? Are you not? All of these things, these are all labels that people use so that they know how to characterize you in their head. But for me, I don't know what I am, and I don't want to be a label. Just because I have a corporate job doesn't mean that I can't also be a 23-year-old who's still discovering herself, or a dog mom, or all these things. I don't want to be labeled because I don't know who I am. So the, like, people wanting to constantly label you has been something that, like, I've been fighting, because I don't want labels. I just want to be me. And so learning to live in the gray and just kind of be okay with the labels, but also understand that just because someone labels you something doesn't mean that's who you are, or that you have to accept it, is, like, something I've been fighting. You know, and just being okay with the gray instead of the black and white. And then a huge one that I put, that I don't know if anybody else struggles with this, but I struggle with this, is going to the doctor. I put off so many ailments, so many things, because I was like, I'm in school. Like, getting diagnosed with ADHD. I didn't get diagnosed until the last semester of my graduate career. And so I'm over here going to the doctor, and they're sending me to specialists, and I'm getting all the tea, and I'm like, wow, I put this off, and now, like, my health has suffered and disintegrated into nothing. And I just have all these doctor's appointments and things like that, and it's like, I probably should have just gone. And I don't know if anybody else did that, but I did that. Finding that routine, so hard. Like, a morning routine, a night routine, a daily routine. My sleep schedule is so messed up now that I don't have, like, class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then this class on Tuesday, Thursday. Like, I don't know when I go to bed, and I don't know when I wake up. Like, obviously work is a thing, but it's like, I want to go to the gym, but I can't, because, like that's another thing that you have to pay for, because I don't have, like, a free university gym anymore. And it's just like finding that routine. You know, when do I eat dinner? Eating 3 meals a day. Who does that? I just didn't eat in college. I just had coffee and prayer. That was it. And now it's like, I have to eat, like, and I have time to eat, so it's like I don't have the excuse of, I don't have time anymore. And I know it's unhealthy, but it's like finding a routine with that too. And the last thing that I listed is finding what your hobbies and passions actually are, now that, like, you don't have all of the outside influences of, like, oh, my best friend did this, so I did this with them. And it's like, in college, I knew that I was very passionate about riding my horse, and so I still ride my horse. But I'm finding things I wasn't passionate about, like creating resin coasters and, like, making different things with resin and putting different things in it and being creative with it. And, you know, sitting outside, like, obviously I've always been passionate about nature, but rediscovering that passion, like chef's kiss, but like taking the time to do that is stressful because, like I said, you don't want to, like, the world has conditioned us to think that work is our top priority and making money is our top priority, and finding time for all of the things we love is just like not acceptable. So I read this book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert that talks about finding your passion and just like being courageous enough to take time to do it. I highly recommend that. But overall, it's just hard. So I don't want this episode to come off as super negative, but I also want to be real with you and tell you what everybody else is not going to tell you. Like, no BS. This is what happens when you graduate, and not every single thing that happens to me or what I'm struggling with is going to happen to you. But I mean, it could, or you could struggle with different things that I may not necessarily struggle with. Or you could come out of college and be like, dang, I hated that, and just move on, you know? Like, a lot of people I know got married straight out of college and they had a baby, and like there's all these things that happen, or they knew exactly what they wanted to do, so they went into this career and they're not struggling with finding themselves. But I think that some aspect of struggling is going to happen to everyone because it's just life, and transitions come with that. I don't know, but like I was saying, it's just life. I'm trying not to take it so seriously, but that's hard. If you got this far, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully I'm able to edit out a lot of this snoring from the freaking dog, but if you can still hear it, thank you so much for still listening. Oh my gosh. But I love you guys so much. Go ahead and rate or review if you can. It would really mean the absolute world to me. If you want to follow, subscribe, like, comment, any of that, that would help me as well. Go ahead and join the community of girls all striving to become our own version of that girl. We are working hard, getting our demons and our angels, and just working through them. And this is one of those times where it's a little bit harder. We got to be a little bit more vulnerable, but like I said, I don't want to BS you guys. I'm going to tell you how it is. We're going to get through this together. So thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on Wednesday, I hope that you have the best Wednesday night, and the best rest of the week. If you listen to this at any other time, I hope you have a great day. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye, guys.